the number one enemy is stigma. Why? Because I almost killed myself, and also I've seen people killing themselves because of the stigma. The stigma started with me myself when I'm going through the treatment, and mostly with the community. My name is Milicent Kagonga. I live in Kenya, in Nairobi City. I was 25 years old when I found out I had stage 4 cervical cancer. Before I was diagnosed, I suffered for 5 years with abnormal vaginal bleeding and discharge. I didn't know what was wrong with me. Living in the slums of Kenya, the people in my community are very poor and are not educated about the diseases like cancer. There is a stigma associated with diseases that people are ashamed to talk about it. Many people think sickness is cursed or witchcraft or sins that needed to be forgiven. I could not afford sanitary towels and had to use rags on my t-shirt. I tried to keep it a secret, but it was hard, especially because I shared common bathroom with neighbors. My marriage ended because my partner did not understand. I had 3 children. My family was starving and suffering from neglect. My second born child died. She was only 4 years old. It was very traumatic time for me. I was lucky to find an employer that allowed me to live with her. She gave me the love I so desperately needed. But I had to leave my children in the village to go to school and rely on the kindness of the teachers and others. Finally, I felt brave enough to tell my employer about my condition, and I saw someone on television talking about the signs and symptoms of cervical cancer. I decided to go for screening. At the first facility, I was turned away. They said I was too young to have cancer at 25. The then WHO guideline they recommended to screening women at the age of 35 and above. They did not realize my symptoms made me a priority for screening. So I went to another facility and insisted to be screened. I found out I had stage 4 cervical cancer. I was devastated. I thought about ending my life, killing my children, and then killing myself. I thought there was no hope left, and I never wanted to leave my children struggling the way I struggled. But then I did find the hope. First, in the kindness of my employer, and then in the kindness from other patients. I decided to go for treatment and was sleeping in the hospital corridors with the other patients, and we formed a small community to support each other with the travel and other basic needs. If I have this community, leave out my neighbors, leave out my families, because my families were talking very nasty things. So I said, I'm going to make sure I've given hope. I have given someone hope, even if it's just little. And from that process, I learned that not every patient that needs money in terms of going through the treatment. Some of the patients that just need a shoulder to lean on. Some of the patients just need someone to listen to. Some of the patients just need someone to cry with, whereby we are lacking those persons in our community. I told myself, I'm going to change that narrative. I started to form a vision and a purpose to help others the way I had been helped. I never want anyone to go through what I went through, not even my worst enemy. The stigma I went through was a nightmare. I'm no longer embarrassed and ashamed to speak about my body and my experience. I've learned that going through cancer is one thing, but now surviving is another thing. Being a survivor and dealing with what comes after cancer, I feel is it my duty to help others so they have it better than I did. I started inviting patients to my one-room home. So many are women forced out of their marriage because of the stigma of cervical cancer. Together, we do beadwork, thread work, crochet work as we go through emotional healing. We make and sell carpets to support our needs. We started as 3 women, and now we are about 400 cancer patients and survivors meeting at Kariobangi North Health Center. When they see me, a cancer survivor, speaking out and being joyful, they say, I am a symbol of hope to them. We are now officially registered as community-based organization called Symbol of Hope Warriors. We dedicated to improving the lives of people with cancer and reminding them that they are beautiful, precious, and loved. Know that you have the power to influence others and be a symbol of hope. Sometimes the changes are slow, but we have to keep going, not just for ourselves, but for those who come after us. I urge those of you listening to this to help me achieve my vision. Please hear some of the things I have learned. We desperately need education and compassion in our communities. Speak up to end stigma and raise awareness of cancer symptoms. Get involved in peer-to-peer support groups. Changes everything. Find one to join, and if there is not a group available to you, see if you can start talking to other patients and start small. Newly diagnosed patients get health insurance. It is worth it when you are going through cancer treatment. Get educated about prevention and go for regular screening. My daughter was the first one to be vaccinated against HPV in Kenya, and I'm proud to say that. Learn about the vaccine and have your children vaccinated. For women going through radiation, learn about aftercare needs. When a woman is having radiation for cervical cancer, there will be changes in the body. Remember that you are beautiful, you are precious, and you are loved. You are strong. Do not give up. Do not give up hope.